and all of that comes along with that. So we'll definitely be revisiting that topic and that idea in future seasons for sure. One of my other, and I'm just not going in any specific order, but one of my other favorite ones, just because it was so joyful, was our Wakanda Forever episode. And what is so funny is that, so if you've not seen Black Panther, I'm not sure, I don't know why. I don't know why you would not have treated yourself to that joy.
I'll tell you why. If you haven't seen Black Panther, it's because you're racist.
No, don't say that, because wait a minute.
And I wanted to go on the record. You're racist.
You cannot say that, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm gonna put somebody on blast. My mama has not gone to go see Black Panther.
She racist. Your mama is racist. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Love your mama. I don't want you to come for me.
Okay.
Because you read like old Dewey Decimal System library reads. I'm not trying to mess with you.
All over your social media account.
Right.
She will come for you all in the comments.
So, Mama, if you hear this podcast, don't go to my gram and try to come for me. I love you.
We love you, Mama. So there are like maybe 3 people in the world that haven't seen it. And I hope that you rectify that soon. But that was just so much fun because I had no real agenda on that podcast, but just to talk about my pure joy and love for that whole entire experience. And it just is like just being able to talk about Wakanda and talk about this idealized, uncolonized, all Black affirming space by just constantly shouting out Wakanda since February has just been a wonderful and joyful experience for me. And it's so funny because over the past couple of weeks, I've seen really like attractive, fit sisters with the short, low haircut. And I just want to walk up to them and be like, Dora Milaje, like are you a part of the Dora Milaje? And how can I be down? So it just brought a whole nother layer of joy and happiness and richness to my experience of being a Black person in this world, talking about the movie Black Panther. If you haven't, which one?
I was going to say, I think that's one of the most important conversations that we had, even though it wasn't based around mental health or anything like that. Mm-hmm. What worked for that conversation is we had a pop culture conversation with social justice and mental health undertones. Mm-hmm. Because when you look at that and contrast that with what happened this week, you understand for the need for more positive reinforcement in movies, in literature, wherever. And that's why that movie was so important and so pivotal.
And I'm going to use present tense because I know people that I have only seen it twice. I know people that have seen it upwards of 4 and 5 times. And there is something very comforting beyond it being affirming and entertaining and a wild ride and funny and exciting and all of that stuff. There's also something very comforting to be able to go see that film and see Black people presented in such complicated and nuanced ways, maybe not complicated, comprehensive and nuanced ways, and to also feel a part of a community in times where we are always up against so much that serves to splinter us. So that is why, like when people say representation matters, there's so much depth and profundity to that concept of representation matters. To be able to, I do walk around with a deeper sense of, and not that I was too shook to begin with, but about like this collective self-esteem because of Black Panther, and the whole phenomena surrounding the film.
I think another important aspect of it is it reinforced the fact that the images that we've been spoon-fed about ourselves, A, don't hold weight, and B, don't have to hold weight in order to be blockbusters. Because
Right.
for some reason, we're being taught that if you don't have Thug number 3 and Hoochie Mama number 2, then it's not going to be a big hit. And so you look for these stereotypes of black people. Now, there have been amazing people like, God, why did I just forget his name? Denzel Washington, who have broken, those barriers. Will Smith, another one. But let us not forget, in all, don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that to Will. That's Big Willie style. Don't do it.
That's too much of a detour. Okay.
But let us not forget about Denzel. In all of those films he did, which I think he should have gotten an Oscar for Philadelphia.
Oh,
he was amazing in that role.
Oh, yeah.
The one he got the Oscar for,
Oh, of course, was Training Day.
is the one where he acted like the stereotype, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
I see you, America. I see you.
But then, the other thing about Black Panther is it's global phenomenon, right? Like,
Right.
a $1 billion plus film. Like
Right.
that's not just, oh, look at these black people on screen having a good time. No, it's way, way bigger and deeper than that. So,
And I also have to say, because we can't move from this without putting this out there. It was one of the first times outside of How to Get Away with Murder or Scandal where you said, if it wasn't for these black women, this whole thing would fall apart, right? Because, that's why people love that Olivia Pope. Olivia Pope, if I ever get in trouble, she is the one I'm calling. She will hold you down so hard and get her whole team around it. If I want to get away with murder, ding, hello, Viola Davis. I do need your assistance.
oh my gosh, what's her name on the show? It's just totally blanked. Annalise.
Annalise, yes, thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
You want Annalise. Although I do believe Viola Davis could probably do some things for you too.
Well,
because that sister is she's on point at all times.
Oh my goodness, so amazing, so beautiful, right? So this movie taught us that, okay, you got this, quote, black man who represents this whole concept of black unity, but how is he able to do what he's doing? And it also taught us as black people, and I'll say more specifically, black men. It taught black men a lesson that I wish we all would learn today. And that is, we can achieve nothing without unity and support with our sisters. So all this bitches over there and hoes over there and baby mama this way and that way, when we stop that and come together, Wakanda, baby.
Wakanda forever.
Right.
I love it. You can't ever forget the forever. So let me see. The other thing that I really loved about our season was our episode around mental health matters, because I think this is such an under talked about experience in the Black community. Lots of communities of color. I'm going to say that broadly speaking, lots of communities of color. With there being unique histories and social political contributions that are different for different racial and ethnic groups. But I think for folks of color, getting mental health services that and intersecting with class and socioeconomic status issues, also getting access to mental health services remains an extremely important conversation that we need to continue to challenge and revisit over and over again. And of course, as a Black psychologist, it was a wonderful time for me to be able to kind of talk specifically about the field of psychology and the field of mental health practice, specifically, and to try to, I hope, disabuse people of some myths or misinformation about what therapy is and what it isn't through that podcast. So that one was particularly important to me. And in conversations we've had offline, Tomas is always like talking about, you should talk about the mental health aspects of blah, blah, blah. And I always find myself a little bit stuck in responding to you around that, because for me, everything has mental health implications. I'm like, what doesn't have mental health implications? That's everything in the world. But I think we were able to give some very specific and pointed thought to the system of mental health, accessing mental health, and potential barriers that people may face and how people might work around some of that. So I'm also hopeful that we will continue to revisit that conversation in different shades and nuances in future seasons of DBG with Dr. Nikki.
Yeah, that was an important one, because it's important for marginalized communities to understand the need for mental health services, but also to understand that the ideology and philosophy is not foreign to your identity, but is formed based on your identity. Because a lot of times you hear in communities of color, people saying, oh, that's a white person thing. That's not for us, or that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's not what mental health is. You can't dismiss it as being for others. You really have to show up and be present in order to be a part of. And so I think that episode broke down some of those barriers, and I really hope people took something away from that.
For real. And as always, with any of these episodes, and especially with that one, if you have questions or thoughts that have come up for you when you're listening, things you want us to address that we didn't, you can always feel free to tweet me at Dr. Nikki Knows. You can also, if you are also on Facebook, you can go to my Facebook page, which is also Dr. Nikki Knows. Make a post there, drop me a message there. I'm always happy to hear from you and engage about mental health services or any of the topics that we've covered so far this season. If I had to pick one, I don't know if I don't think I could actually do one. I was going to say that. I am the world's worst at picking favorites. I hate that question. What's your favorite? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I have 5. You can't make me choose among them.
What's your favorite color?
Nope. Depends on the day of the week. I might say orange. I might say peacock blue. I might also say emerald green. It just depends.
That's funny, because you sure enough had your favorite when we were talking about Black Panther. So maybe it's the color chocolate, but it's a certain kind of chocolate.
Oh my God. Dark. Always. So luscious and rich.
Look at that.
Woo!
You need that 80% cacao.
Yes. Whoa! Uncut. Do you hear me? Oh, Lord, it got hot in here. Mm-mm-mm. Shout out to Winston Duke. Hallelujah. Shout out to Winston Duke.
I promise you, if you use this platform as a dating app, I'm going to be angry.
No, you should celebrate and be there at the wedding. Okay?
Well, I'm going to make the toast. Yo, we was doing this podcast, son.
You can say whatever you want to. I'm just going to be stood there grinning and giggling.
Blissfully.
And just like
blissfully.
Cloud 100. You can say whatever
sitting up
you
there,
want to say.
India Aris playing in the background. Brown skin.
Whatever you want. Oh, well, okay. I got distracted. I'm really distracted right now. Yes. So as I was saying, all of this right here is where I was getting ready to go. And I wanted to say one of my favorite, probably the top highlight, was just relaunching the podcast, because we took so much time off. I took so much time off. And so I really liked coming back in September. No, not September. What am I talking about? In January. Oh, help me.
Please,
in January.
You were supposed to come back in September, but you be dissing people.
You see, I
gotta teach the kids
in my own favor. I'd be rewriting history in my own favor. But I don't remember in like that. No, but when we relaunched in January with our Me Too and Time's Up episode, not only because I think that remains a timely conversation and one that we need to continue